Aloha and welcome to the Honolulu Navy League's 17th Annual American Patriot Awards presentation. I am Bill Kearns, President of the Honolulu Council of the Navy League, and on behalf of all of our members, thank you for honoring us with your presence tonight.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Ai ponoi nanai konoi kanani ali ke ali amehameha na kawae male.
Eternal and ever faithful God, we thank you for this opportunity to gather tonight as a community, to pay honor and to give thanks for two very special people who have contributed greatly to our military families and to the communities of these islands. As we continue to be challenged by this pandemic, we pray you will inspire and direct the research necessary to bring it to an end, but also to lead all of us citizens of the world to care for and work with each other. In your name we pray. Amen.
Aloha and welcome. This evening is all about patriotism and service, and I know all of us are inspired by the young men and women of the Color Guard and by Petty Officer Huddleston of the Pacific Fleet Band. Could you please join me in a round of applause? So thank you all for being here to help honor two distinguished Americans, Ms. Connie Lao and Admiral Paul Zukum. Connie and Paul, a special welcome to you and your families. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Admiral Phil Davidson.
Aloha and good evening. Now, the main reason that we are here to pay tribute to our American Patriot awardees for their extraordinary leadership and public service. I want to offer a special welcome and indeed my heartfelt congratulations to our two amazing awardees and their families. First, Ms. Connie Lao, her husband Russell, daughter Jen, and son-in-law Rob are here as well. Connie, your exceptional leadership of the Military Affairs Council is absolutely cherished by all of the military commanders here in Hawaii, certainly by those here tonight, and your efforts have cultivated this strong relationship between the military and the state of Hawaii, which frankly is an ohana like any other across the United States. I appreciate the conversations that you and I have had regarding the defense of our critical infrastructure, what it means to the state of Hawaii, what it means to the defense posture here, as well as your deep understanding of the implications that has on our economic prosperity and our national security. Finally, your passion to help serve the people of Hawaii and your support to the overall health and safety of our nation is awe-inspiring. Thank you for your service. Next, Admiral Paul Zukum. Thank you, please. Paul and his wife, Fran, is here tonight. Paul, your 40-plus year career in command at all levels of the United States Coast Guard shaped policy and strategy for America's oldest continuous seagoing service for decades. Your expertise on the Indo-Pacific through multiple tours in Hawaii, to include command of the Joint Interagency Task Force West, continues to inform think tanks, security forums, and our partnerships and relationships across the region. Lastly, your contributions to the national security apparatus as a member of several highly regarded advisory boards reaffirms your lifelong commitment to service. So Connie and Paul, the two of you are truly deserving of this award, everything it represents. Congratulations, Paul. It is not enough to profess love to our country. A true American patriot demonstrates extraordinary support for the United States, our interests, and indeed our values. Without question, Connie and Paul both epitomize our nation's core values, which are the very fiber of our democracy. As I engage with leaders across the region, one of the things that stands out to me is our values. Nations want to stand with the United States, and they want to stand with others who champion freedom and openness rather than coercion and corruption. We should never underestimate the power of American values and their ability to inspire others in the region. Indeed, our values are at the heart of our vision for a free and open Indo-Pacific. In stark contrast to this vision, the Communist Party of China promotes a drastically different value system. That value system plays out in terms of governance, trade, human rights, and civil liberties in a much different fashion. And today, it's intensifying its internal oppression as well as its external aggression. One need look no further than Hong Kong, Xinjiang, Tibet, Taiwan, the South China Sea, and the line of actual control on the India-China border to see the depths through which China will go to try to shape the region in China's favor. China's pernicious approach, designed to reshape the rules-based international order in their favor, represents a direct threat to the values embraced by a free and open Indo-Pacific. Indeed, the Indo-Pacific region is in a strategic competition between Beijing's closed and authoritarian vision and the idea of a free and open Indo-Pacific. I do want to make clear that the competition is not meant to put us on the road to conflict. In fact, we must be doing everything we can to deter and prevent conflict. Our Indo-PACOM forces operate throughout the region to deter aggression, to ensure freedom of communication, to provide access to global markets, and to promote regional stability, mutual security, and economic prosperity. These freedoms, this freedom of communication, is absolutely paramount to the success, vitality, and well-being of our nation and her people. That's a truth that transcends time. Our sea services will be critical to the United States' ability to uphold these freedoms in the increasingly complex security environment and the evolving challenges to peace, security, and our prosperity. I must note, the Navy League provides a powerful voice to inform the public on the importance of our sea services to our nation's defense and our nation's economic prosperity. Your efforts support the very ideals of the free and open Indo-Pacific vision, for which I advocate with senior government and military officials, the defense industry, and of course, our allies and partners. In my current capacity, I am personally grateful for your commitment to highlighting Hawaii's unique and vital role in the Indo-Pacific region as well. I remind people all the time that Hawaii's strategic significance is essential to the vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific, and it is our nation's gateway to the Indo-Pacific. I would submit that Hawaii's strategic importance is magnified during this era of great power competition. Finally, I'd like to commend the Navy League's effort to enhance the morale of sea service personnel and their families and support youth leadership development programs through various outreach efforts, volunteer activities, and financial support. Investing in our most critical resource, our people, is a national security imperative, and that includes fostering our next generation of sailors, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and mariners to lead our fleet in the future. Thank you for everything you have done and all that you continue to do to support American sea power and our sea services based here in Hawaii. Thank you. May God bless the United States Navy, our United States Marine Corps, the United States Coast Guard, our merchant marines, the great state of Hawaii, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful evening. Congratulations, Connie. Congratulations, Paul. Thank you very much.
Hawaiian Electric Company is a proud supporter of the Honolulu Council of the United States Navy League. Thanks for all that you do to support our maritime community. And thanks in particular for recognizing two great American patriots this year, Admiral Paul Zukum and Connie Lao. And to the awardees, congratulations. And thank you so much for everything you do for our community here in Hawaii.
Hi, I'm Bill Kearns of Lockheed Martin, and we're proud to help celebrate the Navy League's American Patriot Awards. Congratulations to Connie Lao and Paul Zukum on this significant recognition. And thank you both for your exemplary leadership and your community service. I'd also like to thank the entire team of the Honolulu Navy League for your support to our sea services in Hawaii. Mahalo.
Aloha, I'm Tim Dolan with Raytheon Missiles and Defense. We're honored to be a proud sponsor of Honolulu Navy League and the annual American Patriot Award Dinner. We appreciate the great work the Honolulu Navy League does in support of our sea services, and a special thanks to Jane Ferreira and her team for all they do to support our sailors, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and their families. On behalf of the Raytheon Missiles and Defense team, congratulations to this year's recipients, Admiral Paul Zukum and Connie Lao. Thanks for all you do to support our community. Well deserved.
Aloha, I'm Matt Cox, Chairman and CEO of Matson. As a maritime company founded in 1882, Matson appreciates the work that the Navy League has done since 1902 to support our country's seafaring personnel and their families. That's why we support the Navy League throughout our network in Hawaii, Alaska, Guam, and on the West Coast. Tonight, Matson is proud to join the Navy League's Honolulu Council in recognizing two individuals who've done so much to make our community better. Connie Lao, President, CEO, and Director of Hawaiian Electric Industries, and Admiral Paul Zumko, 25th Commandant of the United States Coast Guard. Connie and Paul are both distinguished American patriots. They are tremendous assets to our community, and they're most deserving of our recognition and gratitude. Matson salutes Connie Lao and Admiral Paul Zumko, this year's recipient of the American Patriot Award. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Major General Susie Veris-Lum.
Aloha mai kako, distinguished guests tonight, and especially our honored guests, Ms. Connie Lao and Admiral Zumko and their ohana. But as Admiral Davidson said, we are all your ohana here tonight. Thank you, Bill and the Honolulu Council of the Navy League for recognizing those who tirelessly serve our community, our country, with the American Patriot Award. Tonight, before the presentation of this esteemed award, it is my honor and distinct privilege to introduce Ms. Connie Lao, but hold your applause for a moment, because you heard the amazing contributions of Connie, which make her so deserving of the award tonight. I echo Admiral Davidson's admiration for Connie's passion, for service to Hawaii and our nation, to make it a more secure and prosperous place for us all. I feel truly blessed to have had a chance to work with Connie for many years, and being a daughter of Hawaii as well, she has inspired me and so many others, Connie. Not only by her sheer brilliance and talent that we all know, her husband has said it many times, but by showing us all what can be accomplished through commitment, tenacity, and grace. Connie is not only an accomplished professional and trailblazer, as you heard from Jen and the Admiral. I would say she is a woman warrior, and not only because I'm standing here in uniform. She is a warrior because she is committed to a set of values of loyalty, duty, honor. A warrior who has a heart to never quit and never give up. A warrior who takes care of her community, nation, and family, and defends it fiercely. As the chair of the Military Affairs Council of the Hawaii Chamber of Commerce, the first woman, as Jen had mentioned, to serve as the MAC chair. She has fought for what our state and nation needs to deter our adversaries, as Admiral Davidson said, and to be resilient when disaster strikes, and we know that all too well here in Hawaii, and seize the opportunities for the prosperity for all. With the priority challenges that you just heard facing our nation in the Indo-Pacific region, there are key opportunities for Hawaii as part of our nation's security. Connie, as you heard, is the CEO of Hawaiian Electric Industries, the parent company to American Savings Bank and Hawaiian Electric Company. And as many of you know, but it's worth saying again, HECO provides electricity to 95% of Hawaii's residents, including our own Indo-Pacific Command headquarters up at Camp Smith, and all the component commands and commanders here would say, and supporting installations. Connie has continuously led nationally since 2012 and has chaired, as you heard, the National Infrastructure Advisory Council, which advises the president on cyber and information security of our nation's 16 critical infrastructure sectors. Connie also serves as the C3E Clean Energy Ambassador appointed by the U.S. Department of Energy. Hawaii's extended ohana, both our residents and military, is indeed fortunate to have such a capable, gracious leader in our midst. Connie works tirelessly to improve this beautiful place, Hawaii, that we all call home. And at the same time, malama, or take care of her family, and connect people, even in this room, for the betterment of all. And I am honored and grateful for her visionary leadership, your humility, Connie, as well as your mentorship and friendship. So please join me now in welcoming Miss Connie Lao.
Aloha, my name is Jennifer Sabas, and I'm the owner of Kaimanahila, a consulting business. I am honored to be able to talk about Connie and her many accomplishments this evening. Probably the one I'd like to start with is her chairmanship with the Military Affairs Council, of which I have the honor to work with her as a member of the staff. She is the first woman to lead the Military Affairs Council, and it is very fitting because it is also during this very tumultuous COVID time that her advocacy and willingness to be in the front as we talk about the increasing importance of the military as an economic sector in Hawaii.
I'm Tom Fargo. I've known Connie for the past 20 years, ever since I came to Hawaii in 1999. You know, I kind of see Connie as the very heart and soul of this community, the leader of one of the very largest companies in Hawaii, but also her leadership and energy has touched tremendous parts of Hawaii. Chairing the Military Affairs Council, a leader at Punahou, Asian Pacific Center, the Board of Matson, everywhere you look, Connie has added value to this community.
She is also the chair of the National Infrastructure Advisory Council. She is a presidential appointee, and as the chair, she is responsible to the council, and they in turn to protect our nation's critical infrastructure. I do have to say that she in many ways is more known in Washington in this regard than in Honolulu. And so when we are in Washington, D.C. with the Military Affairs Council advocating for our bases and for economic development in Hawaii, her skills and her knowledge as well as her contacts make that task a bit easier.
I think it's also important to understand that Connie's been a leader on the national level. She's represented Hawaii and her industry in countless different ways. Probably most important, since 2012, she's chaired the National Infrastructure Advisory Council. And, I mean, this is a big deal. It's 16 critical infrastructures that advises the President of the United States. And of course, she's been on many different industry panels and organizations that have provided guidance throughout the utility industry.
I also think that she is an amazing role model for young women in Hawaii looking to make a career and to raise a family. She never says no to an opportunity to mentor, and she and I have served on a variety of organizations that do focus on mentoring young women. But I do have to say that I think her newest title that has been added to her resume is one that I think she cherishes the most, and that is as Popo, or Grandma.
Most important, Connie has given of herself personally to help others in so many ways. I think one of the first times I met or traveled with Connie was to the Philippines for the Consuelo Foundation, which is helping women and children. And of course, she's been a strong influence and mentor for so many women to encourage them to take on key leadership positions.
Congratulations, Connie, on a very, very well-deserved honor. I am pleased and very honored to call you my friend.
So Connie, let me add my congratulations to Minnie. You're tremendously deserving of this award.
You know, I am so moved by this honor that the Navy League has bestowed upon me tonight. And it's just awesome, Admiral Zumko, to be sharing this with you tonight. You know, you guys said it, it's Ohana. And as I look around the room, you really have become my Ohana. And it's like so amazing because, you know, I grew up on the windward side of this island, actually on Kaneohe Bay and General Rudder, right across from the Marine base. And it used to be so cool. About all I knew about the military back then was to watch the helicopters drop the Marines into the bay and pick them back up again. But I didn't really appreciate the significance of what you all do for not only you know, our nation, but also Hawaii. And that didn't come about until I had the opportunity to chair the Military Affairs Council, actually at Admiral Fargo's urging. When he first joined our board, he came and he said to me, Connie, you need to get involved in the MAC. And I was kind of like, what's that, Tom? But I'm so glad that I did. And I have made so many friends through the MAC. And, you know, I told Admiral Davidson that his comments earlier, I just so appreciated because I felt like he really knew me. And he knows me because of my role in the MAC and the meetings that we have been able to have over the years. And it's so great to have folks like Bill. You're a great MAC member, and Vic and Steve Colon. I mean, it's just been so wonderful. I have to say that through my leadership at the National Infrastructure Advisory Council, I also got a great appreciation for how important the partnership is between the military, the services, and our communities. And what's really strikes me tonight is how many of you actually have settled in our communities and now are providing your leadership to our communities as well. And I really, really thank all of you for doing that. And the military raises great leaders, and our community benefits from that. So thank you all very much. And I do want to recognize my wonderful husband, Russell, and my daughter, Jen, and Rob, my son-in-law. And as Jen said, they just gave me a grandson. So woo, that's the best. But thank you all so much. I really appreciate this honor. And I can't say enough about how moved I am by receiving this. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Larry Osborne, Captain U.S. Navy retired, and my predecessor as president of the Honolulu Navy League.
I met Admiral Zukum about 2.5 years ago. We were both guests at the Matson reception celebrating the arrival in Honolulu of the newly constructed container ship Daniel K. Inouye. And we were chatting while enjoying poo-poos and adult beverages. After we had introduced ourselves to each other, three things struck me immediately. Number one, this guy was really too young to be a retired admiral. And he was much too humble and much too approachable. Paul Zukum grew up in North Bradford, Connecticut, and attended the Coast Guard Academy in New London, graduating in 1977. He subsequently earned graduate degrees from Webster University and the Naval War College. He's also a graduate of the Executive Seminar at the Asia Pacific Center for Security Studies and Harvard's Kennedy School of Government National Preparedness Leadership Seminar. As a Coast Guard officer, his many assignments included several stints in that most coveted position for any Coast Guardsman or sailor, command at sea. His first command was the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Cape Upright, 95-foot steel-hulled patrol boat. Later in his career, he had two additional sea commands, that of U.S. Coast Guard cutter Harriet Lane, a medium-endurance cutter, and the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Rush, a high-endurance Hamilton-class cutter. Paul speaks with reverence and pride about his experience as a cutter skipper and how he embraced the awesome responsibility that entailed. He is a proud cutter man and a true mariner, a sailor. As the 25th U.S. Coast Guard Commandant, Admiral Zukum looked beyond a personal legacy for his 4-year incumbency and adopted the long-term view. He realized that he had to effect change because the Coast Guard, in his words, at that point in time, was in a race to the bottom. He knew he had to restore trust, retain the workforce, and educate Congress about the many missions the Coast Guard was responsible for, and the larger top line for the Coast Guard was required. He also knew that he had to become a salesman, and he effectively sold Congress on a larger budget. He and his wife, Fran, entertained key congressional members in their home, and then they proceeded to enlighten them about the Coast Guard and their many responsibilities. Paul restored the Coast Guard's credibility. Just one example of the fruit of his labors was his success in increasing the number of Legend-class high-endurance cutters that were acquired. The Legend-class cutters have been real game changers. They really are making a difference in increasing the capacity that we have in the Western Pacific and the South China Sea, and making a real contribution to enforce rules-based order in the region. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Admiral's service to his new community. Despite his rigorous work schedule, serving on the Strategic Advisory Board at Liquid Robotics, and other consulting engagements through his own consulting company, he always has time to volunteer his service at the food pantry every week. He also serves on our Navy League Honolulu Council Board of Directors and supports our council's efforts to produce a maritime security conference in Honolulu. So today marks the 17th American Patriot Award celebration. 29 individuals have been bestowed with this honor, none more deserving. I'd like to present Admiral Paul Zukum, United States Coast Guard, retired, former Commandant of the Coast Guard, as an American Patriot.
To men and women of the United States Navy League in Honolulu, Hawaii, aloha! I'm Admiral Tom Allen, Commander of the 1st Coast Guard District up in New England, in Boston, Massachusetts, and I want to welcome you a wicked hello from the great Northeast. As we honor Admiral Paul Zukum, it is my great honor to be standing in front of the Coast Guard cutter Seneca, a 270 and one of the classes of ships that Admiral Z commanded when he was in the Coast Guard. He commanded 6 ships and was certainly a seagoing admiral that provided a lot of clout behind what he did and the way he served the Coast Guard.
Aloha, Honolulu Navy League. Thank you for your support for the Coast Guard women and men of the 14th District. You've been a true friend to our service and to all the sea services, and we are very appreciative of that. I want to send a special aloha and congratulations to my friend, Miss Connie Lao, for her receipt of this really prestigious Patriot Award this year. Likewise, I want to congratulate my good friend, Admiral Paul Zumko, our former Commandant, for his receipt of this award. As you all know, Paul sailed in the Pacific for a full quarter of his 41 years of service as the commanding officer of the Coast Guard Cutter Rush at District 14 as the director of Joint Interagency Task Force West.
I had the great pleasure to work for him as a congressional liaison, working with the Senate and the Hill. And then I also had the great opportunity to be his EA as he was a commandant. He taught me a lot during his time. What he did for the Coast Guard was absolutely incredible. He secured the OPCs to make sure that we have a great replacement, WMECs. He also went through great pains to be able to secure the first polar security cutter that will be delivered in 2024 and will change the Coast Guard's contributions to the nation and to the world, helping to open up the Northwest Passage as we welcome the Healy here in Boston next fall.
Paul also served as our Pacific Area Commander and of course is our 25th Commandant. Throughout, Paul had an abiding respect for the people of the Pacific and a love for the people of Hawaii that is very evident. Paul's not just a great coach and a great sailor, he's also a great citizen. He gave back to his community in many ways, very active in his church, very active with youth sport groups, and he's just a great teammate for all who come in contact with him.
Admiral Zumko was not only a great leader in the Coast Guard, but with him and his wife Fran, who was the Ombudsman at large, they really took care of Coast Guard crews and Coast Guard families. They ensured we got pay raises, they ensured we had the benefits that we needed to be able to serve our families, and they always showed us the right way to treat their own family. His contributions to the Coast Guard will be long felt and are going to be honored, and I can't thank you all enough for honoring him and allowing me to be part of this.
So congratulations, Paul. Well deserved this prestigious award. And I know that you really care about the people of Hawaii, and so it means so much to you.
Thank you for honoring Paul Zumko. Thank you for honoring the Coast Guard, and thank you for always supporting us.
Mahalo to you all, and aloha.
Aloha. You know, I would say that in Washington, D.C., and you would hear a pin drop. So for me, it was a no-brainer. And actually, Fran was very convincing of, we're not going to bring aloha to Washington, D.C. We will bring Washington, D.C. back to the Aloha State. So we cannot be more proud to be here. So I'd be remiss if I didn't first recognize all those contributions that you heard are attributable to my wife, Fran. She was our ombudsman at large. And if anyone is approachable, more so than me, it's my wife, Fran. She would disarm members of Congress to fund things like daycare, which is really hard if you're trying to build out a fleet of ships. To be a more inclusive Coast Guard. When I came in as Commandant, our Coast Guard Academy was 3% underrepresented minorities. When I left, it was 35%, and 40% of the Corps cadets are now women. So I could not do that without the counsel of my wife, Fran. So when we talk about patriots, we often omit our spouses, like Russell and Fran. Neither Connie or I would be here because, quite honestly, we walk in your shadows, Russell, and in my case, Fran. So thank you to our spouses. So I asked myself, what is a patriot's duty? And those numbers range far and wide. Is wearing a mask a patriot duty? I would say probably not. A patriot's duty is really putting service before self. It's supporting a just cause. I would recommend to you Simon Sinek's, he's a great thought leader, latest book called The Infinite Game. It applies to business, but it applies to a just cause. And a just cause goes all the way back to our founding fathers and a Constitution of the United States. That's a just cause that outlives the current incumbency of those who are in office today, supporting those just causes. And the other just cause that I would suggest is for those who are given so much, there's a requirement to give back. Jim Hickerson, a former Patriot Award recipient, gave so much back with honor and integrity as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. That is a patriot's duty. That is a patriot. In fact, this room is filled with patriots. Every one of you at this table is a patriot today, who are giving back to the community, giving back to business with your time, your treasure, and your talents in many ways. You may have heard of another Jim. His last name is McInvale. Jim McInvale owns a gallery store in Houston, Texas. You may have heard it got a little cold in Texas here recently. Jim opened up his gallery store, and he's done it repeatedly during Hurricanes Katrina and Harvey, and he opened up the store. At his expense, he brought in food trucks. He had electricity, brought in over 350 people to sleep on his furniture and eat. He brought in portable toilets. That's a patriot. I was up at Tripler today getting my second COVID vaccination, 10 stations set up. At least 75 people up there, they're volunteers, and they're putting themselves at risk, potential exposure. Those are patriots. Our sailors, our soldiers, our airmen, our Marines, our Coast Guardsmen, our Merchant Marine are standing the watch as we enjoy this great meal today. And they do it voluntarily. Those are patriots. And their families who support them, that don't take an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, those are patriots as well. So I can't thank the Navy League enough. I am just one of many, and my position was to really to applaud the patriots. And I'll close on one story that always stuck with me. You may hear we have rescue swimmers that jump out of perfectly good helicopters into tumultuous seas to rescue those in distress. And we did a big dinner up in New York City in 2015, and our honoree was a rescue survivalman named Corey Fix, going into sea caves with 30-foot seas and frigid water and pulling people out. And those survivors were in tears at this dinner. They said, if not for Corey, I would not be standing here today. And so I asked Corey, will you say a few words to the audience? Over 1,000 people are gathered there. Al Roker was our MC for the evening. And Corey says this, I'm a rescue swimmer. It's what I'm trained to do, and I had duty that day. And he walks off the stage. That's a patriot. That is a patriot. And we have a room full of patriots. We stand here on hallowed ground across Pearl Harbor. Patriot stories. 80 years running now, nearly so. Our greatest generation of patriots. Let us not forget them either. So again, thank you, Navy League. Thank you for all the support of the Navy League. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our spouses for this great honor. Mahalo nui and aloha. Thank you.
Please welcome Jane Ferreira.
It is such an honor to be here tonight to see all of our American patriots, and I agree with Admiral Z. We are, everybody in this room who is supporting the Navy League, who is supporting our sea services through your patriotism and your partnership. I like to call it partnership and not sponsorship. I mean, the Navy League being involved with the MAC Council, and so much of what we're integrated to into the community, like you referred, is part of our core. And thank you all for being here and making everything we do possible. We could not do it without you. So thank you.